Even more startling is the fact that these profits exceed those of the 100 largest manufacturing concerns in the United States. This huge gambling industry is fairly outside the law and is largely controlled by the syndicate, the American branch of the international mafia.
That looked about right. Mafia.
Let's go! We out here. Timing's awkward. Gonna wait for the music to fade. And we're back. It's another episode of the DNBA show. It's a Thursday, so I'm your host tonight, Brendan Vogt. Above me is a guy with... The hair's always brought up. I'm actually a bigger fan of the jawline.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Does look especially sharp this day.
Do you think the jawline looks better with the long hair or the short hair, though? That's the question I'm always constantly wondering.
There's no difference.
Which one brings out the jawline?
To Harrison's left is a man who looks exactly the same, like regardless of when I see him at any point in time. It's Adam Modis.
Thank you very much. Consistency is the key. Always have your hair cut like you could set your watch to it. What's the? I screwed up the line.
That's not a thing. And below him, it's Eric Weedham, D-Line Co. Eric, I don't have a joke for you. Yeah.
Look at me. I'm wearing a hat, and my jawline is obscured by my disgusting beard.
Yeah, we're like lacking in the energy department right now, but that's okay because we're not alone. We brought in two specialists. What's that?
I was going to say it's a haircut you can set your watch to. There, that's the line.
We got it. We got it, guys. We got it.
Now we can move on.
Yeah, now we can get the show started.
Our friends and our specialists, our special guests, from the DNVR Bets Daily podcast. You might know him from DNVR Broncos, DNVR Bets fame. It's Denver Sportstradamus, RK.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we got him.
Perfect way.
What up, guys?
What up?
Hey. Great to be here.
Man.
I don't know if I'm going to get Dre's new title right, so I apologize before.
What do you mean? His title,
RK's not alone. His co-host on the DNVR Bets Daily podcast, it's RK the Mathemagician,
No.
Andre
He's
the
RK.
Mathemagician. Is that close?
No.
Professor Dre?
There it is.
Professor Dre, the math magician, and I too am mesmerized by Harrison's jawline. I mean, he was always the best looking of the crew, but clearly quarantined after getting beat down by that ruthless NBA schedule year after year. Harrison's living his best life, and I couldn't be happier.
Iron sharpens iron.
Coming in hot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I should just leave the show right now after that. I can't go up from that.
I'm mesmerized by Andre's background, which is putting my one Nuggets flag in my 20-year-old poster to shame. That's impressive.
Yeah,
What about mine? I've got a whole set of Breck Brew taps right here.
My question for RK is, I've only seen him like these last 3 days in the DNVR bar.
Yes.
So my question is, are you living in the DNVR bar?
Did you guys know there's couches up here? Like, I just brought a blanket and a pillow. Why would I leave?
That's a good question.
You are my favorite.
Your background before. Why did it take Professor Dre, the math magician, to come onto the show for you to realize the futility of your own one flag background?
I don't know what to say to that, Eric. I don't know what to tell you. Thanks for throwing me under the bus. It was just like a pithy intro. We've got these guys to talk about some fun prop bets that'll be coming down the line as the NBA, fingers crossed, does return eventually. As you know, we've partnered with DraftKings Sportsbook, and we have the ability to create some custom prop bets, some custom lines, and these guys have been in the lab working on some fun ones for the Denver Nuggets. So we will get to those later. But first, another day, another update of sorts from the NBA. Kevin O'Connor, of course, tweeted out earlier, sources on today's call with the NBA general managers. Adam Silver revealed the results of the GM survey. 75% of GMs voted in favor of a play-in tournament for the final playoff seeds. 25% voted for a World Cup-style group stage. He went on to clarify that he doesn't know if Silver is going to act on these results, but they're out there. Harrison, can you break down some of the details of this? And for our friends joining us, or maybe those listening who don't know, what would a play-in tournament look like?
Yeah, well, it seems like general managers were surveyed on a few different things. The big one, it seems to be if they would like to continue the season in a playoff plus format, which is a play-in tournament between the bubble teams to determine the final couple seeds in the playoffs, or a World Cup style group stage, which would replace the end of the regular season, obviously. And it seems like 75% of teams voted for that play-in tournament, while 25% voted for the group World Cup style stage. So a lose for the backers of the World Cup style. But he
not really a loss. It's just I don't know if the survey means anything. I don't think Adam Silver was there like. Results are in. It looks like we have.
Well, I
our
mean,
answer.
if like 80% of GMs were like, we definitely want to do this, I feel like that would have pushed them a little bit in that direction.
Read some more of these numbers. Read some more of these numbers because I think that we can actually decipher exactly what the survey accomplished.
So other items on the survey, half of the league's GMs voted to go straight to the playoffs and cancel the rest of the regular season. And then just over half the league voted to reseed the playoffs 1 through 16 without factoring conference affiliation.
So let's start with that first one. Half of the league wants to go straight into the playoffs. Half of the league has a team in the playoffs.
I wonder who those
I wonder
teams
which
are.
half voted for this. I mean, this survey is a little bit dumb. You're asking like GMs, like, do you want to be in the playoffs? If so, like vote one way. I mean, nobody. I could predict probably with 100% accuracy how every GM voted.
So how did the Nuggets vote?
They want the playoffs to start because they're in them, and there's no point for them going and playing exhibition game. And
I bet the Nuggets
really
voted for it to start right away and for it to be seeded 1 through 16.
100% how they voted because they're in a good spot. They're the 3 seed. They're probably not going to climb higher. They could fall. Very much more likely to fall than to climb. And the 1 through 16 interconference one, that gives them the easiest path. They might actually have the easiest path of any team to the semifinal. So. Again, I don't think this survey holds much weight. I mean, Adam Silver had to have known what the results would be.
Yeah, if you're in the Western Conference, you're probably fine, as that comment just noted, with the 1 through 16 format, right?
Yeah.
Do you think
I think it is interesting, though, that he can probably get a little bit of a gauge to just see how much, like, a World Cup-style tournament, how much support that has, maybe for future seasons. That's probably what this accomplished.
But it also, I mean, it does mean something. It's not like a popular election where the results determine what happens, but Adam Silver is serving the owners. So
for a reason.
Yeah, but so like he will just make the decision, and this has to have some bearing on what he's. I'm just mainly amazed how many GMs listened to our podcast last night and what we brought into account. I'm impressed, and it makes me feel good about the future of the league.
Adam, fleshing the rest of your take out, who are those 25% of teams that would want the World Cup format? Like, who
So I think if you're the Washington Wizards,
if
you're the Sacramento Kings, maybe even the Brooklyn, the teams that are like no hopers to even get into the playoffs, that it's like, if we're opening this up to 20 teams.
It's the 17 through 20 seeds.
Right.
Yeah. Let's do a little math magician. I don't know if you can do a little calculation.
Oh, no. That's correct. The lottery teams want to stay in the lottery. They don't want their players who are actually good to get injured for meaningless games. That makes sense. This all jives with my mathematics. Yeah.
I'd like to see your math a little bit, though.
Show your work.
It's proprietary. Yeah.
I mean, if you're the Brooklyn Nets, you have a 1-8 matchup with the Milwaukee Bucks. You're almost certainly going to get eliminated right away in 4 games. But if you get into the stupid, I'm not going to call it stupid because I actually think it's super fun. But if you get into the group play, the pool play, now you have to beat the Kings, the Pacers, the Clippers, the Nuggets. Your odds go up because it's chaos. So the bad teams always want to get more experimental.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like they talked about the superstars all getting on a phone call, and surprise, LeBron James really wanted the season to continue. It's true. Like, everybody obviously always votes in their own self-interest, so that, I mean, this just follows exactly what you're saying.
Dre, from the Nuggets' perspective, have any of these proposals jumped out to you as enticing? Or, I mean, to us, it's obviously an easier path. I mean, would you be down with the Pacers and the Raptors?
Yeah, sign me up. And the World Cup format, just so we're clear, because of course you have lots of international. You play each team twice, right?
Yes,
correct. Yeah.
Okay, so it's technically more of a
yeah.
Champions League than a World Cup, but I still like that.
Love it. Love it.
I knew that
I'm
was
just
gonna
saying.
be one. Thanks for breaking
Great.
it
There's no
down.
home and
We
away
don't
in
know.
the World Cup. I don't know if you've ever
Good
watched.
to have you on, Dre.
Well, when the
Ian
U.S.
Hale.
is
Hold on a
in.
second. You're wrong, right? There is pool play in the World Cup. I've
Just
watched the World
Pool
one
Cup.
play, but
team.
it's one game.
He's not
Yeah,
wrong. about
you
that.
play
Gotcha.
one game.
Okay.
one
You
game
wouldn't
against
play
each
the
team.
Pacers twice. You wouldn't play the Raptors twice. I mean, I think this could really help the Nuggets, not only because you're getting to feast on some slightly easier Eastern Conference foes. I mean, I think all of this, having more games, is going to help their depth. It's going to hurt teams like the Lakers, who are so reliant on two guys. I think it'll also help the Bucks a lot. You know, this could really be nice. I think this, if that's the format, the round robin format, this could be that rare year, kind of like last year, where injuries factored in, but where it's not the true contenders, but those fringe contenders have more of a shot, and that's firmly where the Nuggets fall into all this. So yeah, I think
Let's
it really
go.
opens things up.
Such a radical
it.
change, though, right, RK? I mean, like playing in a series.
Dude.
None of those games are happening in a vacuum, right? Take your drink, everyone, if you're playing the game at home. But to like these group style games, it's like a completely different thing, right? I mean, you're in a different mindset. It's not like you're necessarily doing the should we show our hand yet thing with 7 games. So we've talked about this in pods prior this week. Like, doesn't that almost lean into the asterisk thing? Like, this was so different, it might not even count.
Yeah, that part of it is kind of unfortunate because I love it from a fun perspective. Like, I'm so excited about these NHL pool play games that the Avs are going to participate in for trying to get the 1 through 4 seeds. Like, that's so cool to me. One thing I really love about it is it has this like playoff intensity of how big a win is, but the cost isn't as bad when you lose. So it's not like you're devastated after a loss. You're just like, okay, like, you know, where do we stand now? But I do think people will say, like, oh, that was the gimmick season, or, oh,
For sure.
that was the World Cup year. And Andre will be like, actually, it was the Champions League year. But, you know, like,
Get the hell out of here.
You know what? Now I hope the Nuggets do it, and everybody says, "Well, that was the World Cup year," just so I can say, "Actually, it was the Champions League." Get your
Print the
asterisk
shirts.
right, people.
Yeah.
oh, my God. Yeah, so I don't know. I love the idea. Like, I'm already, you know, starting to fantasize about these NHL pool play games at the bar here, and I think that sort of stuff would be really fun. Obviously, providing that we can get everything under control, but that type of stuff really entices me. So I love it. But you're right. I mean, you give people an out to give an asterisk, especially I can't remember who said it last night. Maybe it was Dev who said, like, it depends on what team wins, right? What if the Nuggets win? They're going to put like a 7 times the size of the regular
100%.
font asterisk next to it and say it doesn't count.
Now, the play-in, how could this factor in? That's going to be like 7 through 10 seeds playing each other for those final 2 spots?
I've got to think the play-in is just for the 8 seed, right? Because the Dallas
okay.
Mavericks are the 7 seed in the West. They're
Right.
closer in games back to the 2 seed than they are the 8 seed. So it'd be ridiculous to put them in a play-in tournament. So I've got to think it's just for the 8 seed and with the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, the Blazers, and the Spurs.
Look, just give it to Zion. We know that's what they want. Just say, like, hey, look, we get to decide what's going on here. Zion's in the playoffs.
What happens if a player complains? Like, we'll just use LeBron as an example, but say they get bounced in the group stage or whatever. Do you think he comes out and says something? Like, do you think?
Oh,
he
of course,
complains
man.
After the fact,
LeBron
definitely
be sitting at his
LeBron
locker.
definitely would, yeah.
He'd have the camera on him, and he'd give like some backhanded thing, like, "Yeah, they got us playing this weird format." Like, I don't know.
It would be the Paul George, like, it was just bad. It was a bad shot. It was a bad tournament. Like,
who do you think is most
NBA should
likely to
scrap
complain?
this.
Who, if they got bounced, do you think would be the most likely to
LeBron
complain
might be
about?
number 1, unfortunately. I say that as a big fan.
or Paul George again, I think, probably.
Paul George might be up there. Chris Paul.
Oh my! Wow, but Chris Paul, he's
Even though
really
it benefits him, he'd still be upset.
I love Chris Paul. I love his pettiness.
Harden would like flop trying to get them to change the.
Oh, man.
It's Daryl Morey. It would be Daryl Morey.
Yeah, the Rockets would send a whole like 30-page report on one.
Harden might
game.
benefit. Now that's true. The report's coming, but Harden might benefit because he can't stay up and get drunk until 5 a.m. during the playoffs. That might help him a lot. He might not bust in the playoffs. For once.
Andre's
my
coming in
kind of
hot. I
pod.
love
There's
it.
so much slander. It's great.
I'm saying.
With
I'm
guns
just wondering,
blazing.
like, what the league is hoping to accomplish here. Like, is it everyone keeps using the word compromise, but this is a lot of work to determine who can get waxed by the 1 seed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
what they're trying to get is money. They're trying to get extra games.
Sure.
Well, I think it's also. I mean, with the World Cup, the World Cup style. Like, I love the idea of having some semblance of a season where you're actually like allowing the teams to tune up before they go into the super duper meaningful games, because it takes time. I mean, basketball is so based on finesse, especially how it's played now. It just takes time for teams to be able to find their rhythm, and I mean, it's just so clunky to watch anybody come back from injury at any point in time. It's just it takes time before it becomes palatable and interesting.
But how weird and frustrating is it going to be? Like, so we don't get in because we weren't quite warmed up in that first game.
Well, I know,
Nets,
but the other thing is like you just start the playoffs and you're rusty, and then all of a sudden you're just out in 4 games.
Actually, I tweeted this out. I think this is the real thing that is actually likely to happen. That what if the Bucks are up 6-1 or 7-0, and the last game for them doesn't matter, but it really matters for who the second seed is in their same pool. You would be smart to rest Giannis in that situation and just be like, this game doesn't matter. And, I guess the Grizzlies are getting in because they just beat up on the Giannisless Bucks. Or vice versa. Maybe it's, the Nets are 0-7, and this last game is like, this is really dumb. Like, everybody sits or whatever, and it happens that way. So it's weird to say that in a playoff or a group stage playoff that's only 8 games long, there'll probably be some tanking.
Well, and Andre can probably speak to this more, but in with the World Cup, in the Champions League, those things happen.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be a baller move. So if you're actually like the Nuggets and you have it clinched, and the Clippers desperately need like the Pacers to lose, and the Nuggets play the Pacers in the last game, Nuggets could punt it and be like, you know what, we'd rather the Pacers be in the playoffs and the Clippers get sent home. Now we've just eliminated one contender.
Yeah, it's true. The Nuggets would do it. We've seen them do it in the regular season. So, is anyone against this on principle? I mean, we've poked holes in like the practicality and the logistics of this. Is anyone here just, hey, don't touch my NBA postseason?
How can you still principle?
So I'm a little against the 1 through 16. I hate to say it. I'm just a little against it. I kind of like playoff rivalries. I don't know. I do. And you would lose playoff rivalries if you go 1 through 16. You just would. Teams wouldn't play each other in the playoffs in consecutive years. I mean, that's when rivalries get started. I think you'd lose that a lot. So
you know what's funny, though? Like, this year we would get the Rockets, Jazz, and Celtics, Philly, wouldn't we? If we went 1 through
exactly.
16?
I don't think you would lose them. You might diminish them, but also, like, what are the rivalries we're talking about that we've missed over the years? I mean, like, for example, the Warriors and Thunder met each other that one time, and it was great. But it's not like we saw them over and over and over again. A lot of times the rivalries you end up seeing are teams like Clippers versus Memphis, which is fun. It makes those games interesting, but I can lose that. You're still going to get the best teams at the end, and that will create the drama for me.
What I don't like about 1 through 16 is you're just saying, like, yeah, not only did this whole thing get messed up, but also all those games you played before literally meant nothing.
I know. In a league that's already the charge, right? Is your regular season is meaningless. That doesn't help.
Well, like you put all these comments, but you never put up that one. I was just waiting for you to put that comment on the screen. I mean, it's a great comment.
I think I know why I didn't put it on, actually.
What about this one? This one.
Just
is that Hank?
Praise comments.
I think it is Hank. Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
I just think the NCAA tournament, you don't see the same teams ever, and it's just always exciting. There's just something about playoff basketball that doesn't require the narratives to be built, and the narratives are gone this year. There's just nothing to be carried forth that needs to be reliant on last year and the year that follows. It's just this year. I mean, we are living in asterisk world regardless. So like, let's make it as fun as we can and like try and entertain ourselves and like regain some semblance of normalcy and just move on. Like that's all I want.
I haven't paid close enough attention, but is there a chance that you get like a Steph and Clay on the Warriors as like a 16 seed or something?
No.
He
wouldn't play.
They
already
said
said they're
KD
so
too, right? I know a lot of people keep talking about that with Brooklyn.
Well, that one's the one that could actually swing something. KD coming back would actually be meaningful, but no, they said they've rolled him out already.
Yeah. All right, guys. Good stuff. I think you hear that noise. I think it's that time. It's time to berate Harrison Wind while he tries to do his job.
God.
Time for Harrison to consider other employment.
The floor is yours, kind of.
Well, I'm glad we got RK and Dre on when we're talking about DraftKings, guys, because the wait is obviously over. If you've been listening to our show, if you've been listening to RK and Dre's show, we know that DraftKings has brought legal sports betting to Colorado. Got a lot of awesome stuff to bet on right now. The KBO. We got UFC back this weekend.
UFC this weekend, huh?
Yeah, UFC this weekend.
Can we get that
KBO,
like
obviously.
at the bar? We could talk about it later. I don't know. We don't have to.
Yeah.
Talk about it during Harrison's read.
Yeah.
But of course we partner with DraftKings, and DraftKings isn't like some weird, like sketchy offshore gambling site. It's legit. It's the real deal. They have awesome contests as well, promotions where you can get free plays and whatnot. So download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DNVR when you sign up. For a limited time, all new users can get a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. That's right, DraftKings Sportsbook has a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. But you've got to enter code DNVR when you sign up. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. Bonuses comprised of a first deposit bonus and a first bet match. Each up to $500. Deposit bonus requires a 25 times playthrough. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
Can't even bother you while you're doing that one. It's hard enough.
If you follow Andre's picks on DNVR Bets Daily, you'll get that 25x playthrough in like 2 days.
Boom.
Crossover promotion.
And of course, be drinking Mile High City Copper Lager while you're watching the KBO or the UFC this weekend. Pick it up at Davidson's. I think you can get it at the DNVR bar, correct?
Is that right?
Mile High City Lager,
Very
not
correct.
the official beer of the Korean Baseball League.
But correct.
You can have
I thought
official
I thought Seoul was also known as the Mile High City.
I think
Is
so.
that true?
So,
Someone
Granted, I
fact
mean,
check that. I don't-
I'm reasonably sure they're on the metric system, but
should we do the DraftKings pick of the week now while we're talking about DraftKings?
I think so. Do you have
Okay,
one
awesome.
already, Harrison?
Awesome. Yeah, so as you guys know, once a week we do DraftKings Pick of the Week. I'm coming off a big win last weekend. Told you guys about the Eagle bet in the match
right.
that came through.
A lot of people won big on that one. I
I think
think.
Legendary.
paid off.
So for this week, I'm going to the KBO where the Kiwoom Heroes tonight, Thursday night, Friday morning, are sending out their ace. This
Who's their
podcast's favorite pitcher and
right?
favorite player in the KBO,
What's his name?
Really?
Eric Josic.
Jokic.
Wait. It's what? That's what it is. Not Jokic?
No, it's Jokic.
Yeah, get out of here.
Eric
Someone
Jokic.
Harrison. Someone
I
put
like
Man,
think
Harrison,
myself
I
is
can't
Eric
believe
a
you
little
blew this.
Jokic.
You had the perfect runway for this. Is like the perfect opportunity. Yes, of course, Jokic tonight. Put your money down.
Jokic never loses, so this is easy.
Honestly,
This is a
though,
lot.
like I watched Jokic in action, and he absolutely befuddled my LG twin. So this is legit. He's legit.
Yeah. You want some numbers on Jokic? So 1.17 ERA this season in 4 starts.
Whew. That's
He's thrown
good for
3
you
straight
basketball
quality
fans.
starts, all which have resulted in wins.
Nice.
Also good.
He's the best pitcher, or one of the best pitchers in the league this season. So I'm going with the Heroes tonight. They are playing the KT Wiz. So
Lock it in.
Sweet. Lock it in. Jokic. I can't wait for him to win and us to talk about this next week.
Man, is there a prop on like no hitters because KT Wiz is trash?
I was looking for a prop that was something like under 3 runs or something for, or under 2 runs or something for the
Oh,
KT
yeah,
Wiz,
let's-
but I couldn't find it.
Nothing
Let's
delights
find
me
you
We can
that.
get that.
Yeah.
We can get that for him.
Yeah, we'll get that for you in a second.
Nothing delights
I
me
have
more
2
than
bets on the Heroes today, so I'm right with you, Harrison. That's a great pick.
I love when you guys just discuss with absolute seriousness the Kaiwoom Heroes and the KT Wiz. Like, it just
Are
tickles
Dinos
me.
still
every
number one? Are my Dinos still number one, RK?
Of course.
Yeah, they're
Your
17-3. They are just raking.
Man. I know.
Um,
Yeah,
so-
you can get KT Wiz under 3.5 at plus 114. That's beautiful.
Eric, I feel like
Yeah,
have you ever like
think
gone to the
about that one, too.
mechanic and then you're like intimidated when they start talking about cars because you don't know it? This is how I feel right now. Like, have you
Like with
checked your oil? You're like, yeah, I checked that
Oh
all the
yeah,
time.
yeah. That's I checked the KT Wiz. They're yeah.
I know nothing of gambling, which is
We
why
can
I'm so.
talk you into anything. thing, right?
That's right. Please don't. I need you as my
You're just like,
friends.
Brandon, trust us. You got to take KT Wiz to win the Korean series.
Well, we have the right people for the show then. It's better to have the professor and Sunglasses Man RK breaking this stuff down than me. Allegedly, supposedly, maybe, guys, basketball is returning soon. And that would mean the Denver Nuggets season. Oh, man, I have to throw up.
I can't believe
I can't do this. We've created a monster. That would mean Denver Nuggets basketball would be returning soon, which would mean we're going to get you some custom prop bets on DraftKings Sportsbook. So
that's a power we have at
it's
DNVR.
a massive flex. And
Massive flex.
our two friends here have been hard at work in the lab getting some potential bets together. So I guess I'll just give the mic to you guys if you want to just run through your list.
Yeah, so we've got these up right now. They're heating up,
Nope, we're
cooking
gonna have
up.
to hand the mic to the
To Andre
magician, I think.
and then RK.
You might have to
Yeah.
find
Alright,
a new
start.
Wi-Fi.
So the first one we're looking at, it's Nuggets total playoff wins,
Okay.
which gets really interesting with us not knowing the format and this potential round robin being in play, because that's adding an extra 3 games to round 1 for you.
Okay.
Now,
Does that-
a lot more of those can be losses, but and what the
That's
Nuggets
true.
got 7 playoff wins last year.
Would this count as playoff wins, the group stage? And this is what's weird about
I
it. Is
think
like,
it would.
technically it is, but would it for gambling? Because if it's gambling purposes, I mean, come on, they're going to crush that one, right? They got 8 games.
Well, yeah, but what do you think? They go 6 and 8 in
Ooh,
those
that's-
games?
No, this is simple. Simple
All
math.
right, Eric's bad for gambling advice. Always
I'll have you
undefeated.
know, I went 9-1 on my bets during the match. 9-1.
The match.
I think Denver goes 5-3 in group play, and I think that's enough to get it done.
Me too.
Yeah, and I mean, here's what's interesting is where do you guys think the number's fair to be set? Because coming into this, I thought 7, exactly like last year, would be the fair number, right? You set it at 7, maybe you get a little extra juice on the
You thought
over.
7 would have been 7 wins?
Yeah,
to be
7
higher than
playoff
7
wins,
would
right?
be an improvement, which would be a pretty optimistic projection, though.
If you had the round robin, though, I think you could kick that up to 8, maybe even 8.5. But I don't think you get too far out of that range.
Man, that's such a tough one, especially with this group
Yeah.
stage variable, because I think they go 5-3, and then you go to the second round where you're playing a tough team. Like there's no easy ones. You're probably playing
right.
the Raptors, Celtics, maybe the Lakers or Bucks. Like you almost go right into a really tough one. And so I would say if we were talking total group stage plus second round of a playoffs, I probably think Denver gets, I don't know, 6.5 would probably be the smart line.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
know. I
There's
mean,
a chance they don't come out of the group stage.
100%.
if
Right.
you told me 7 or 8, I'd be thrilled. Thrilled, without even knowing where those wins came. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think, Win? Is this?
What would you guys put it at if
Wow, and what happened to your mic? What is going on here?
Tough show, tough night. It's one of those
Tough
days.
There we go. You got it.
Well, I muted him. That's how we got it.
Oh.
Um,
I wanted to hear what Harrison thought, though.
I know,
if,
me too.
if he's got that in the 7 range, because you're right, 6.5 is probably because what DraftKings will do is they want a number that's going to entice people to put action on it.
Right.
Yeah, so we get this question: wouldn't they be voided if the format totally changes? I think right now we're just talking about a theoretical group stage,
Right.
Because the answer is yes. Like we don't even know how it'd be. But in this theoretical group stage, we have 8 games, and then go to a second round. That's sort of what we're trying to estimate at this moment.
I can't imagine that the group stage would be part of playoff wins.
Has to be. It's basically round 1 now.
Yeah, it is. They're counting it as round 1 of the playoffs as the group stage.
All right.
So something to keep in mind here. Can you guys hear me now? Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
All right.
You have permission to speak.
Always.
Something to keep in mind here is that the NHL, they're putting 24 teams in the playoffs. And the books are letting anyone who had a team to make the playoffs cash their bets. It's completely unprecedented and unheard of. And usually, as I was telling Andre on bets the other day, like it's usually the book that beats you on a technicality. This time, everyone's beating the book on a technicality. So I think the same thing would happen here with NBA style props, and you could, actually really benefit from the way that this playoff format shakes out.
Yeah.
What about if we went to the other format? So In terms of total potential wins to gain, it would be the same thing, right? How do you guys, what do you think the number would look like, and how many wins realistically do you think the Nuggets can get?
When you say the other format, do you mean 1 through 16 or just straight into the playoffs, East and West?
1 through 16.
1 through 16 makes
Or
it
just
really
standard every year, same playoffs.
Right.
Where
So we
The
could
standard
here's the
every
bracket.
year.
Oops. Yeah, we had this the other day. Here's that bracket. Here's what it would look like. Nuggets have an easy quadrant. I mean, relatively speaking.
They win 4 games at least. They beat the Pacers.
Yeah. What round do the Nuggets get to is the question here. I mean,
I think they definitely get at least 2 in the second round against Toronto, right? So 6 is 6 to me is feeling.
So 6.5 might be the line.
Yeah.
I go over in that.
Give me
scenario.
the over, yeah.
I kind of like them against the Raptors. Like
I would take them over the
I don't
Pacers
love
in
them.
6 and over the Raptors in 7.
wow, Harrison's feeling himself. Man, he's been so confident on the Nuggets lately.
because that
Nugget can't
jawline.
penetrate the bubble. It's interesting.
So then, Harrison, if you have them winning that series, are they picking up more wins? Do they move on? I mean,
Against who? The Clippers?
the Lakers. I think it's the Lakers at that
the
point.
Lakers if you're going chalk.
The Lakers. I'll give them 1 win against the Lakers.
Oof.
I think they could make that a gentleman's sweep.
So 8
Wow. The confidence ends.
Yeah, so I'd probably go with that.
I mean, I don't know, man. I feel really bullish on the Nuggets to make it further than they did last year, which
I
would
love
give
it.
us 8 wins, and then I mean,
I'd say
I
they
don't know.
push the Lakers to 6. Actually, I'll say they
I
push them
love
to
it.
6.
All right, that's respectable.
Yeah,
so
so
if
I-
that line was 6.5 or in that ballpark, you take the over, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see where they set it. I'm really excited to see it because 7.5, you have them, a half game over what they won last year. 6.5, you're under. They're in an interesting spot here where they have to choose: are they going to entice people a little bit by starting low, or are they going to make people really think twice about it by going to 7.5? Because 7.5, that's a tough cover, depending on what they draw out here. So.
So many people are going to bet against the Nuggets. Everyone outside of Denver, right? If it's
Oh,
like
can't you just see? Let's go back to the World Cup play or the World Cup format for a second. I mean, can't you just see the heavy money coming in on the Pacers or even the Nets to
think?
advance instead of the Nuggets in that scenario?
I mean, that's where your value would be. So, and often they do that. I don't know, man.
Right,
Yeah, I
they'd
mean,
be
I-
a popular upset pick. I could see that.
I could see the money coming in on the Nets.
Yeah.
All right, hit us with another one, boys.
All right,
Yeah.
the next. Oh, you got it, Trey?
Sure. This one, I think, is where DraftKings and ourselves will differ. And I'm really happy we're getting this out now, and we won't be blinded by the bets that come out and think like, oh, is our perception screwed up? Because it's more postseason minutes, Torrey Craig or MPJ.
I love this one.
This to
I
me
like this
feels
thinking
eerily
about this
similar
one.
to the how many games will the Nuggets win question.
This is fascinating, man, because
fascinating.
I mean, your instinct tells you to go Torrey Craig. And we just did a roundtable where I said Torrey Craig's going to get like the biggest increase in minutes from regular season to playoffs. But I mean, I would be surprised, but like maybe there's a scenario where, Denver's down big in one game and they just throw MPJ out there. And
Here's
he
your
logs
scenario.
like 25 minutes in a game or something.
Maybe you're playing Indiana instead of Houston, and you just
Yeah.
are playing MPJ more. You know what I mean? Because I agree with you. I think that's how you framed it in your roundtable answer, Harrison. If it's a Houston series to start, Torrey Craig's playing a lot.
Torrey Craig. Yeah, you're right.
But I wonder if Malone approaches this differently if it's Indiana.
I think
Yeah.
he definitely does. MPJ had good games against Indiana. Like,
I think it's Craig, but there's not really a matchup for Torrey against Indiana. There's
Precisely.
Brogdon, but there's not the dominant lead guard that you'd like classically put him up against.
but then also just like we never got Malone to turn the corner with his confidence on MPJ. Like
Right.
we were building this entire time where it was like, all right, cool. Like clearly he's trying to feel him out. Like he's still making rookie mistakes. He's getting penalized for it. But we never really got the part where he had the triumphant return and learned and they grew and they embraced, which we all were expecting to happen. So I don't know. Like are we still in that place where MPJ is just getting that rook treatment?
I mean, I tell you what, I'm playing 2K20 right now with the Denver Nuggets, and he's playing an awful lot in the playoffs. And it helps, as it turns out. He's really good.
Is he pretty good?
Yep.
Yeah, and this will be interesting because, I mean, the only scenario I see MPJ getting more minutes.
You're there. We can hear you.
He's frozen.
Who's Trey?
What a day.
It almost seems like he paused himself. Like he was like, "Oh man, I don't have anything to say." Oops.
6 might be too many for the live stream. Here's some numbers actually for you. This really shocked me. Torrey Craig played 20 minutes in the regular season last year, 20 minutes per game, and only played 23.6 in the postseason. It felt like he played a lot. Like his minutes went way up. But they only went up by 3.5 minutes.
He just played loud minutes. Like he was impactful. Like
he played a lot in the regular season too. He played a lot more in that season. So I'm saying, like,
yeah, he didn't play in that many games, so maybe that was part of it. Like he played in 75 games, 37 of them he started, and he was starting, in the playoffs.
He was starting from game 3 on of the first round series.
Yeah, and I think it's got to be Torrey, right? It's got to be Torrey. Like we just there's no other.
Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Matt Moore asked him. He said, "Is MPJ going to play in the playoffs?" And Malone said unequivocally, "Yes, he will." Now,
dude, I told you at the time, man. I told you.
I do. So I don't know. Actually, I guess is what it is.
So, real quick on this, you're gonna get really good value on Michael Porter Jr. here. Torrey Craig is going to be a decently heavy favorite in my estimation.
Agreed.
I think it's probably going to be Craig minus 170 or something like that, and Michael Porter Jr. plus 140, something along those lines. And when that happens, I'm probably going to say, take the MPJ line where there's the value, because I think he will play. And let's say he just gets hot and you just can't keep him off the court. This is a guy who just straight up gets buckets, and you never need that more than in the playoffs, especially when things turn into that, in the fourth quarter, that slow half-court style playoff basketball. You're going to need someone in there to just, make shots off the dribble. So I'm interested to see where DraftKings sets this, because if they give you enough value on MPJ, I think that's a gamble worth taking.
I love this comment that we had up here, though, because the MPJ hitting a hot streak is what makes the Nuggets go deep. Is there anything more exciting to think about than Michael Porter Jr. catching fire in a game? Like a Michael Porter Jr. 30-point game where he's just on fire, and it's like, I would not be able to contain myself.
I was bummed out the other day, so I rewatched the Indiana game. And it worked.
Incredible, huh?
It was, and honestly, sometimes you just know. Like, so much goes into analysis and evaluation, but I was sitting there watching that game, and I was like, all right, man, this kid has it, And I'll never forget that moment, because should the breaks go his way in terms of playing time and health, and he hits that ceiling, we'll all have known from that moment on. Yeah.
I'm rooting for it.
Can we just live in a world real quick where it's like safe and there's a packed house at the DNVR bar and Michael Porter Jr. can't miss? Like he's going for like 35
for the entire. I might buy shots for the entire bar.
It's gonna happen.
Drop $1,000 buying shots for everybody, just so excited. Ooh, that's a good one.
You guys got any more for us? Oh, that's a good one. I guess we could. I would just take Jokic triple doubles. That's just like my instinct. When I say Jokic triple doubles, my brain thinks likely. So
Jokic triple doubles would almost be a fun line, because
it depends on how many games they
last
play.
year. Was it like 2 or 3? He had a handful, I thought.
I mean, you guys, how many games do we think Jamal Murray had 10 assists this year?
Yeah,
it's not a great question.
It's not that many. I mean, this is an easy Jokic one.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to look at last year in the playoffs, because I think he had. I'm pretty sure he had a couple.
Jamal Murray had 10 or more assists twice. Throughout
it does make me think, though,
55 games.
Playoff prop I want to know, does Jokic have more
games.
triple doubles or dunks in the playoffs? Is that something?
Jokic had 4 triple doubles last playoffs. So
Yeah.
Jokic played 14 games and had 4 triple doubles. I mean, come on, it's
triple
Jokic
doubles by a
triple-doubles.
landslide on dunks, I think.
Easily.
So,
We had will a Nugget player score 40 in the playoffs?
Yes.
That happened once last postseason, right? Just Jokic in the one game in San Antonio.
Jokic game 6 in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Didn't we
also
say
had
it's only happened
37.
twice ever for the Nuggets? It was Jokic and Carmelo.
Yeah, in the playoffs. I think either Jokic or Murray could do that on any given night. So.
Or
Yeah.
MPJ.
Or MPJ, oh, man, MPJ with the 40.
I just want to know if that
Technically
happens.
correct.
I'm doing my own parade.
30. Oh, 40. Are you kidding me? Oh, my God.
Just West Wash Park, private parade.
Me and you, bro.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think that one happens. I
mean, Jokic going for 40 against the Rockets is something I can easily see happening.
So I think you're going to get really good value on that, on taking the yes. You know, you'll probably get, I think, over 2-1, I would guess, would be what you would get on that. And, I mean, that's where I have them setting it. So, again, that's what I like about this show is when they do set it, we can go back and say, oh, well, that's what we thought, and there's a big gap there. Maybe maybe it's that's only plus 170, but I kind of expect it to be like 210 or above.
Man, I kind of feel like it will happen. I mean, first of all, we know Jokic can be more aggressive when he wants to be. Like that just and in the playoffs he wants to be. So to me, his scoring was not necessarily surprising. And then it's all about the matchup. We talked yesterday. If PJ Tucker's guarding him, especially for 7 games, one of those games Jokic is just going to go off. He's going to be at the foul line. He's going to be getting layups and post moves, offensive rebounds. So I would feel pretty good about going for 40 points. Then you have MPJ. Then you have Jamal Murray. I would feel pretty good about it. Not great, but I'd feel pretty good about it.
It's just weird because the Nuggets' best scorer is a reluctant scorer, and it's just such a weird thing.
Only one Nuggets player scored 40 this year. It was Jokic. He did it one time.
What was that?
So,
Atlanta?
Wow, crazy.
Atlanta career high 47.
Yeah.
Man,
Right.
and so even that, I think it might even be higher. I think it might be over 3-1.
Yeah, I think it would
Oh,
definitely. I
I'd
think the
pound
odds on
that.
that would be great.
I'd pound
What a
the
fun
yes.
one to bet on, though.
Yeah.
What is your guys' gambling strategy? Are you strictly from the head? Like, you're only the things you want? Or do you like, this is the thing I want to happen, so I'm going to root for it, so I'm going to put money on it? Or are you the opposite? This is something I want to happen, so I'm going to put money against it.
So for me, I look at this as like a sports enhancement fund.
Yes.
And I view my losses as just like money I paid to make watching that game more fun. And every time it was worth it. So to me, it's all about making
Great
things more
philosophy.
fun. And yes, do you want to make money? Of course you do. But I'm all in on stuff like this. Like we had a DNVR special in the last batch, which was Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy touchdowns versus Kansas City Chiefs wins. And we're just like, that is such a fun one to be in on because the Chiefs can only get one per week. And you could have a game where Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, combine for 3 or 4, and like you feel like you absolutely dominated that week. So I'm all about just trying to make things more fun, and I think at its core, that's what sports betting is supposed to be.
Right.
That's the excuse Michael Jordan should have gone with instead of I have a competition problem.
I've never really bet before because it was illegal and I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I like playing along with the Tom Brady and Peyton Manning golfing event last week, and like having the in-game bets and being able to be like, wow, Tom Brady sucks at golf. I'm going to fade him at every opportunity. And being given money back for my hatred of Tom Brady was one of the more satisfying things as a sports fan.
It's been tough in the football realm. I'm a New York Football Giants fan, which means I haven't had anything to care about or be happy about in some time. But like sports gambling, and even just like when you have some money on fantasy sports, it really is like, all right, I'm going to sit down and watch this game as if my favorite team's playing. So I do appreciate that aspect for sure.
Where it's been phenomenal is the UFC. I mean, as Ryan calls it,
A
it's
fighter in the cage, not a
I
horse.
hit
in
a
the
crack
race.
is what Ryan says, but it really is a shot of adrenaline watching those guys fighting in a cage when you have money on one of them. It's
Yeah, I
a beautiful
bet.
thing.
You're like, oh, this is how society got to where.
Yeah,
all right.
you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, I'm an absolute addict now when it comes to the UFC. Like, just having money on one of these guys, and when they get into a position where they're just throwing haymakers, like I'm bouncing off the walls.
You must be so lit.
You're definitely standing up for that. Any event that can get you out of your seat, I'm in on.
It would be every time Tom Brady was on the tee box. I was like, let's go! Put it in the corner. He did.
You guys got a couple more for us before we hit another break?
The one that we do have, which ties in another beat here at the DNVR, is Nuggets plus Avs playoff wins. And
the can.
This is really interesting because we talked about that Nuggets number, so that's going to be at 6.5 or 7.5, we predict. Yeah. And this Avs number, I think, is going to be a little bit higher. I'm going to guess they set that at 8.5, and that just means like they made it to the second round, and once they get that, they have a pretty good chance of covering, or the third round, they have a pretty good chance of covering it. But I love this one. You talk about fun. This one's going to be so fun because you got two horses to ride here. So if one of the teams goes out early, you can still cling on to, one of them making a championship run or to the conference finals. I think this one's great. And especially if you're, a Colorado sports fan, or maybe you're just a Nuggets fan and you want to get into playoff hockey. Speaking of crack, the ultimate crack, you're going to have fun playing this and kind of cheering on both teams there.
Well, and how this new playoff format potentially, if the World Cup style bracket plays into this and they do go 5-3, then all you need is 3-4 wins in the second round to beat the Avs potentially, right? So that'd be really intriguing.
This is one that you just have to would this be like an over-under line, right? I assume they would set a
yeah, so it's going to be, and I'm guessing it's going to be like over under 15.5, or sorry, 6. What do we say? 8.5.
No, wait. It's going to be Nuggets against Avs.
That's 16. No, it's Nuggets plus Avs.
Plus Avs. Oh.
So I think you gotta just as a fan smash the over, because how fun would it be if both teams just win every game?
You're not a true Denverite if you're smashing the under.
And then you come to our bar and you spend all of your winnings in
let me ask the two that have purview both series or both setups. Like, the way that the NHL is handling this postseason and the way that the NBA is proposing to handle it, which do you prefer? The way it's been discussed.
Man, I don't know. Because the NHL one is in stone, I've already completely fallen in love with it. I love the way this is set up. I think it's going to be so fun to watch these little pool play games for the Avs, and then of course the play-in matchups are going to be so enticing. And what's really interesting is, DraftKings set the odds on those matchups, and even the 5-12 games are really close together. So I think you're going to see tons of great hockey. And the best part is, as an Avs fan, you'll just be sitting there. Maybe you got the second seed, maybe you got the first seed, third, whatever. You'll just be sitting there watching these teams just cannibalize each other and just saying wow, this is amazing. And also we get to get this team after they've just played a brutal 5-game series against another team.
Yeah, I guess I'm asking because I love that NHL, the way that the NHL proposed it. And the fact that the NBA came back with their own essentially gimmick setups. I thought for sure that they would take something from the NHL. But.
All right, Win, do you know what to do, brother?
Yeah, guys. Well, we got the Nucks Invitational this weekend on DNVR Golf, baby.
I hope you guys are ready to not have any fun, because it's going to be not a blast.
So, this tournament's going to be super hard, right? It's the toughest 9 holes. Yeah. I've heard high winds, fast greens, maybe.
Before you finish. It's pretty easy idea. The winner's going to be the person who made it through all the holes without breaking their phone.
This is like the college course. You're trying to weed out all the slackers.
That's right.
Yeah, only the strong survive. So that should be really fun this weekend. If you don't have WGT, download it from DNVRGolf.com. Search for the DNVR Clubhouse. That's how you can get in the tournament this weekend. It's super fun.
This in Serbia? Are you guys logged on in Serbia? I want to know if my Serbians are playing.
Are you waiting for a real-time answer? Because it might not.
I was just putting this out there. He says nope. I got the real-time answer.
All right, then. Nemanja, download WGT from DNVRGolf.com. That way you can get in the tournament. So that should be a lot of fun this weekend. Also, guys, you can get Strava Craft Coffee online for 20% off when you use code DNVR20. Order it online, ships to you right away, super fast. RK, what do you think about this? I proposed this on the show yesterday. We should get some Strava Craft popping in the DNVR bar one of these days.
Yes, absolutely. I'm thinking of taking some Strava, turning it into some cold brew, filling a nice big jug of it, and just setting it right here on the bar.
Please do that.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Exactly what I
Cold
was
brew on tap. I love it.
Yeah.
That's what we need at the bar. More stimulation.
But you can get it for 20% off when you use the code DNVR20, StravaCraftCoffee.com.
I'm gonna do that right now, actually, and I'm gonna do that while Kale brings in one of our members at the DNVR.com, DNVR Nuggets. Oh, a returning member, friend of the show, a legendary steps contestant.
Hey, come on, step number 2.
You're an
Set the bar
OG.
low.
Real
Phil
quick,
hasn't-
it was crazy that Huckleberry last night just completely won with no help from anyone. That was awesome.
I know, man.
Nothing
Yeah.
suspicious about that performance at all. Phil, we trust Phil though. I don't think Phil was cheating last time he was playing. So, sorry, Phil. I can't help myself. How you been, man? How's life treating you?
I've been good. I've been actually going out in public. I shaved all this quarantine stuff off. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Happy to hear it, dude. You're ready for? Do you have a preferred format for this basketball return? Have you been keeping up with that? And does anything sound better to you?
I like the group stage idea, but the more I think about it, I think just the 1 through 16 best record, do away with the conferences.
Yeah.
I think that'd be the most. It'd be a little bit different, but still be true to form. So I think the asterisk will be very small.
And that way we can just get it moving, right? It's practical, and you can just get something in place, maybe. You disagree, Adam?
No, I'm just sitting here thinking if the Nuggets were to win a title this year, and people were like asterisk, Eric, we're making the shirt with a giant asterisk for it. It's, you know what?
Oh God,
it's just like an FU. That's like
just
we'll
like
take our
pickaxes
asterisk.
everywhere.
We might actually hang an asterisk in the building. Just put it up there.
That's
raise
dope.
a banner.
Yeah, take that asterisk on the way out.
Oh wow! All right, so Phil, we're just gonna send
Ladies
you a
and
shirt
gentlemen,
now.
There you go.
we got him.
All right, I think it's time for you to try and redeem yourself, Phil.
Yeah.
Adam, how are we doing this? Can he use either of our friends from DNVR?
Well, of
Bets
course,
Daily?
you have 2 advisors. Most
So you
people
got
only get 1.
2 advisors, so there's no reason for you to
Great.
get this wrong at all.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
let's get into the steps. There's the music, the tension permeates, and we begin. Question number 1: which Nuggets player is nicknamed Thrill?
William Barton III.
That's correct. Thank you
That
for
is
saying
correct.
his name correctly.
Thank you for
as well.
using his full name.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
Would you guys have called that wrong if he got the wrong number after his name?
Yes, I would have. I'm in charge tonight. So,
Harsh.
yeah, that's his name. It's on his jersey. Question number 2: which of these people was not a head coach of the Denver Nuggets? So I'm going to name 3 coaches for you, Phil. You tell me which one did not coach the Denver Nuggets.
Okay.
You have Larry Brown. Oh, what's up, Adam?
No, you're good. You got
Oh, I thought I heard you say hold up. Larry Brown, Doug Moe, or Phil Jackson?
I know the answer to this one. Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson. That's right. Way to build the
I made it
suspense.
past 2.
You made it after a
go.
short round of applause.
go,
Short
let's
round of
go.
applause for Phil. Look at that genuine smile. He is stoked.
The bar,
great relief.
the bar here at the DNVR bar, they're going nuts down there for you.
It's amazing.
Question number 3. No pressure now. What country is former Nugget Danilo Gallinari from?
Italiano.
That's correct.
That's very good.
That's very good. Extra points. for
Italian
that,
is not a country.
actually. Yeah, that's true.
Actually,
That's
very
true.
Italian.
offended by that.
Italian.
The judges-
Offensive. It's a little offensive.
I'm Italian, so I can say it that way.
There we go. Question number 4. Who are the 3 point guards on the Nuggets roster? The 3 point guards.
Okay. Jamal, PJ, and Monte. Do you agree, advisors?
Yes.
We agree.
Nailed it.
Judges agree as well. Congratulations.
Great
folks.
job. And way to check with your advisors. That's great work.
Very responsible steps playing. That brings us to question 5. Which
Nemanja.
of the following was a mascot for the Denver Nuggets? So here are 3 potential former mascots. You tell me which one really was once a mascot for the Nuggets.
Okay.
Pioneer Chuck, Maxie Minor, or Gold Digger?
Ooh.
Sorry.
We got your back here if you need it.
Yeah, I'm thinking Maxey was definitely one, but I've never heard of those other two.
Well, yeah, only one of them had to be. Right?
Correct.
It was which
Yeah,
one
Yes.
of these
Which
three?
one was it?
Is
Was
not.
indeed a master.
Wasn't, and I've not heard of the first or the third one. What were they again, Brendan?
No. It's you have it right. The answer
Yeah.
is Maxey. It's which one was.
Oh, which
Oh,
one was?
I'm sorry, I tried to make that as clear as possible. I think I did the opposite. Where? Let's move to question 6. Hopefully, I can do it.
I would have gone Gold
No, you have
Digger
to give him an
myself.
option here.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, sorry.
We have to Gold
Phil,
Digger.
you've miraculously made it all the way to the sticker.
I
ball.
appreciate that faint praise.
Let's
Do
go.
you want the stickers?
And the bar goes wild.
Or do you want to keep going?
No, we got to keep going.
I agree.
I love it.
I like where your head's at. In that case, we
True
will go to
competitor.
question number 6. Where did former Nugget Jared Vanderbilt play college basketball?
I'll give you a hint. It's not Vanderbilt, as much as you want to say it is.
That's a good hint.
Another
I'm
SEC
sure he was
school, though.
Kentucky, is that right, Trey? Was he Kentucky as well?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kentucky.
Wow.
You got
Incredible. We're getting nervous. The DNVR Locker, we may be giving away a free shirt here. Question number 7, Phil. How many brothers does Nikola Jokic have? How many brothers?
I've seen one of them in action at the Pepsi Center. My son thought he was going to rip one of the railings out of the aisle in anger one night.
Yep.
And I know he has a
Definitely
second one, so I'm going to say 2.
Okay. That is correct. You're through.
it. Let's go.
We'll go to question 8, Phil. We'll go to question 8.
Somewhere.
All right.
Which player did the Nuggets receive from the Dallas Mavericks in the 2018 3-team trade that sent Emmanuel Mudiay to the Knicks? So which player did the Nuggets get in that 3-team trade in 2018? They sent Mudiay to the Knicks. They got one player back from the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay, I need to talk this with my advisors. It was Devin Harris, wasn't it?
Oh man, great poll.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
correct.
That is a good pull. I had
Great talk with your advisors, by the way.
Arcade's
Good job,
really
guys.
helping you out here.
Nailed it.
Well, as soon as he said it, I knew it. So that was,
Yeah.
that I helped.
We'll go to question 9. Who is the longest tenured Denver Nuggets player
Ooh.
Ooh, this is a tough one.
Currently on the roster.
currently on the roster? Thank you.
Oh boy.
Gary jumps to mind first, but I got to think through the bench.
Nemanja is here to help you out. He says, easy.
Until Nemanja gets on this, he's got to stop calling them all easy. That's a challenge.
I believe it is Gary. I think you're right on that.
Trey, what do you think?
No answers in
It
the comments.
has to be Gary.
Trey, if you crunch the numbers for us.
It just has to be Gary. The only other guy, because the older guys like Barton and Plumlee haven't been there as long. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it has to be Gary. And Gary was drafted in the same draft as Juancho, and who
No,
obviously is
no.
gone. No,
No,
okay,
not
I'm
that.
confusing my drafts.
It was Nurkic.
Oh no, he was
and
with
Gary
Nurkic.
Harris.
Right. So you're good. I think it's Gary. You can lock it in.
Is that your final
Okay,
answer?
let's go, Gary.
And that's correct.
Hey.
To question 10
It is Gary, but it's just Gary by about 6 months over Will Barton.
over Will Barton.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
man.
right. That's right.
I was kind of hoping you'd get that wrong because we're on to question 10 now, and I can't do the actual proper enunciation of this name. Former
Oh,
Denver
no.
Nuggets
Wait for
general
this.
manager Arturas Karnisovas hailed from which European country?
Oh, man.
Andre definitely knows this.
Yeah, I know it for sure. I'm here to help.
Yeah, there was that article on The Ringer about him, but I didn't pay that much attention. Dre, we got to go with you.
Is it?
It's
Can I
listed-
get? Okay,
Go
never mind.
ahead. You
No,
want
no,
to guess,
no.
RK?
Yeah, it's
It's,
Lithuania.
Yeah.
Good guess, okay.
Lithuania.
Yeah.
All right, we're going with Lithuania.
And they're through.
Hey!
So I believe that brings us to a moment of
Free
pause,
t-shirt.
a moment of decision.
This is a true redemption story for Phil.
Phil, do you
Let's
want
go.
to take this free T-shirt, or do you want to keep pushing and go for that lifetime membership to DNVR?
It's tough. I mean, during the quarantine, I literally just go into my laundry room and take the same T-shirts over and over and the DNVR one.
Same.
So, but I think we got to keep going.
Wow.
Oh!
No one would blame you, but buckle up, everyone.
Wow. I'm going to be honest. These ones are hard.
Yes.
What was the win total in 1979? I'm not going to.
Yeah, even harder.
Okay, there's 3 options for question 11.
The top
and
one.
The
It's
third
so
one
good.
is so hard. Yeah, I'm going with the top one. Which Milwaukee Bucks player was on the receiving end of a vicious poster dunk by Jamal Murray?
Oh,
But the dunk was waved off by the officials.
That was the last home game.
Comment section can actually say it because I've muted the comments. You shouldn't be able to see the comments.
I can still see him.
That is a hard. You can. Well, you're okay. Well, maybe not then.
yeah, I can't see him. Oh man,
Okay,
what was
all
that
right,
guy's name? That was so beautiful.
You do have 2 helpers here with you.
Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, right.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
I mean, trying to remember the entire roster here. They were playing their B team that night.
Yeah,
So
that's the problem. This was a guy who never played, right?
yeah. Oh man, I've gotten. I honestly, I might try to dig if Andre can kill some time for me. I might try to think this one through, but I mean, you can't think of any of the guys.
Can I give a hint?
Please
Yes.
do.
Yes.
He played at Michigan.
I don't think that is gonna help.
Oh man, he played at Michigan.
What?
That means nothing.
It's not Ramil Robinson.
How's this the 11th question, guys?
Because we don't
Hey, man,
want
this
them to
was our
have free
favorite-
memberships.
First of all, this is exactly the answer. But actually, the other answer is this was the best highlight of the year, right? This was the best one.
Yeah,
This was
yeah,
numero
that's
uno.
fair.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Oh.
I know.
I kind of like that Die Hard T-shirt. Can I go back to that?
It's too late, Phil.
I'm trying
It's
to
too
think of
late.
like obscure Michigan basketball players.
I love that you got him on the Michigan
That-
train of thought now. I don't know if it's gonna.
I mean,
I
I
got
believe it was
nothing.
only at Michigan for 1 year too. So
Yep, not very long.
Trey, do you have a guess for us? Because I got nothing.
I mean, I'd go Marvin Williams, but I think it's a bench player.
I've got a
Yeah.
hint for you. Sometimes I confuse him for Christian Wood. Means nothing to you, but it's just like a fun fact.
That is a good one. That's really that's good to know.
All right, we're gonna need an answer, guys. I'm sorry. I know it's not
I
easy.
got
throw out a random player on the Bucks.
Or a random series of names.
I would like it to have been one of the Lopez brothers. So let's just say one of them.
You're out of here.
good guess though. That's a good
Yes.
guess.
Oh, I love that effect. DJ Wilson. is the answer.
DJ
Wilson.
Will, please,
Oh, I know.
DJ Wilson.
That's a tough
Honestly, I feel like I deserve some credit for my integrity here because I could see the comments and a couple people in there
I
said
saw
it.
that.
But
I saw that. Well, that makes up for that cancels you out blatantly cheating last night. So that's good.
you know, I already served my karma for that because I was on a CU Buffs trivia show today, which is something I should really flourish in, and
Yeah, that
I
sounds like
absolutely was terrible. So
Oh no.
that was my fault for cheating Huckleberry to the win last night.
Tough scene. Well, hey, before we get out of here, why don't you guys plug your show, plug the stuff you got going on, and talk a little bit about DraftKings and DNVR.
Yeah, you know, we're doing DNVR bets daily. If you can't tell from the name, it's daily, and we do it every day at 5 o'clock right now. Go through some of the, you know, what's going on in the betting world. We give out some of our favorite picks. We are both combined over 500 right now, so we're doing well betting on sports that we hadn't heard of before all
Yeah,
this.
that's impressive.
And we're having a lot of fun with it, so make sure you come check us out. I feel like that was a bad omen from Harrison over there, but we're having a lot of fun with it, and DraftKings has been an incredible partner, like you guys mentioned earlier, helping us create these DNVR specials, which are, you know, something that are exclusive to DraftKings and stuff that we come up with that we think is interesting, like that Torrey Craig versus Michael Porter Jr. stuff. So give us a shot.
Hey, two of my favorite guys at DNVR. I mean, would say that about anyone, but it's actually true. DNVR Bets Daily Podcast. Go-to place right now if you're kind of like me, just looking not just which bets to place, but to learn more about the gambling scene each day. Thanks so much for hopping on, guys. We appreciate you. Phil, thanks for hopping on and trying your hardest. And the rest of you, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Take it easy.
Stay safe, everybody.
Lovely.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow, that's amazing.